Welcome in everybody to our brand new show, Blizzard Warning. I'm your host Scott Cole, and I hope everybody can hear me right now. If you can't hear me, give me a shout out. Let me know. We'll get things addressed as I'm working off of my wireless headset right now. This is Blizzard Warning. We're your Avalanche coverage for all things with Colorado Sports Connection. I'm happy to be back with this group. I did have something going on a little bit earlier. Had to leave that for a bit. But we're back, we're running, and we're looking forward to this next Avalanche season. So I hope everybody is ready for what's about to go on this year. Because me personally, I love the look of this Avalanche team this year. I love what I'm seeing, and I am excited for this season to get started as the Avalanche kick off the season in LA tonight, taking on the Los Angeles Kings. So let's take a look back. Last season, the Avalanche were eliminated after 7 games, Seattle Kraken in the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Super unfortunate that happened, but dealing with a lot of stuff that went on. You had Gabriel Landeskog, who was out for the entire season last year. We had the rumors, is he coming back? Is he not coming back? Were we going to make a move at the trade deadline, which didn't happen? Were we going to use that salary cap and just move him on the long-term IR? It frustrated a lot of us. A lot of fans got frustrated, myself included, with that. But ultimately, it is what it is. We made do with what we had, but you get some interesting feedback off of what the Avs were able to do without their captain Gabriel Landeskog in the lineup. You finish with a 51 wins, 24 losses, seven overtime loss record for 108 points. You win the Central Division. This team was good. This team was solid last year, and that was after losing key players like Nazem Kadri, who signed his 5-6 year deal with the Calgary Flames, who missed the playoffs last year altogether. So take it for granted. That's what we got going on. My co-host Jenna Chavez will be with us shortly. She's leaving work, getting ready to go. This is our first show, our first weekly show. We're looking forward to it. There's things you guys want to get in touch with us with. Let us know. Reach out. Put your name in the comments. Let us know who we're talking to. If you haven't given permissions for StreamYard to use your name off of Facebook, please do so. We're also streaming on YouTube on the Colorado Sports Connection page. You can check us out there. We'd love to hear from you guys. So we're going to go ahead and dive into this. Like I said, last season got eliminated first round of the playoffs, and we lost Game 7. Unfortunate. Valeri Nichushkin not in the lineup. We all heard about what was going on there. We're not really going to touch a lot on that. We heard the issues, woman in his hotel room, stuff like that. Passport going missing, bad men. Avalanche aren't going to touch it. They're like, it's done, it's over. Valeri's back with us. He's here to play. Signed that long 8-year deal. He's back in the lineup. He's on our second line. He'll be the second line right wing with Ryan Johansson, one of the new acquisitions. And yes, Connor Bedard for the Chicago Blackhawks did get his first official goal today, his second point in the NHL. So really excited to see some young talent in this league. Maybe he wins that Rookie of the Year. We don't know. Might be some challengers, but I really don't know about that one. All right, getting into it. Issues we had last year, second line center issues. You had Alex Newhook, who was asked a lot of to step up and be that second line center with the departure of Nazem Kadri last year, and the Avs really had a lot of faith in this kid to go out and do the job and be the guy that would step up in that situation, but it just didn't happen. Whether that was just the high expectations or the development or whatever else was going on, Newhook couldn't step into that role, and they tried changing things up. Logan O'Connor moving him up. They tried it with JT Comfer, another person who's departed this season, and just necessarily couldn't get there with anybody. So what do you do if you're the Avalanche? The Avalanche went out and acquired Ryan Johansson from the Nashville Predators via trade, I believe. Yeah, Ryan Johansson was traded to the Colorado Avalanche from Nashville Predators in exchange for Alex Galchenyuk back on June 24th. Um, with Ryan Johansson, you get a veteran player, somebody who's been a second line player and was just part of the Nashville organization for the longest time. So I truly appreciate getting somebody like that who can center that second line along with Valeri Nichushkin, and I believe who is going to be our second line left winger. I believe that goes to Miles Wood or Arturi Lehkonen. Arturi Lehkonen, I believe, is going to be that second line center for us moving forward. And then Miles Wood might get some time up there as well. But Lehkonen's earned the spot with this team the last 2 years, so hopefully he balls out as well. Valeri Nichushkin did have that disappearance. The Gabriel Landeskog out for the year, but we should be good right there. So we're going to go ahead and move right into our off-season acquisitions and departures. Right now, we've got gone are the following players: JT Compher, Eric Johnson, Alex Newhook, Matt Nieto, Dennis Mulligan, Lars Eller, Darren Helm, and Evan Rodriguez. A lot of those players were one-year players or players that we had on early learning or entry-level contracts with the Avalanche. So we had some control there. Eric Johnson was the longest tenured Avalanche in team history right now. He's gone. He's now with the Buffalo Sabres wearing that blue and gold over there. Hate to see him go, but the Avalanche needed to free up some cap space by letting go of Eric Johnson. We get that $6 million in cap space back, which allows us to move forward and sign some of the players that we did this year. And boy, did the Avalanche really suit up and give us something to look at. Something amazing to look at. JT Compher signed his deal with the Detroit Red Wings. Alex Newhook was sent in the trade to Montreal. In exchange, Montreal gave us Gianni Fairbrother, a defenseman, young guy. We also got the number 31 and the number 37 picks as part of that trade. The number 31 pick turned into Mikhail Gulyayev, who is going to be starting his season with the Colorado Eagles for us. And that number 37 pick was then traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning in exchange for Ross Colton on June 28th. July 17th, Ross Colton signed a 4-year, $16 million deal with the Colorado Avalanche, and he will be playing as our third-line center and gives us a solid amount of depth right there. If you guys haven't seen Ross Colton play, he is one hell of a player, man. He just does what he has to do and doesn't really take a lot of crap either. He's a tough-nosed player, played a lot of third and fourth line center minutes with Tampa Bay Lightning, was part of one of their Stanley Cup runs. So you get a veteran player who has playoff experience to center that third line, which is going to be amazing down the stretch while we go. The 27th pick in this draft was Callum Ritchie, a center. He'll start with the Colorado Eagles this year, signed his entry-level deal. We should expect some great things out of him with that pick. Hopefully, he'll get some time coming up, but that depends on the ability of Ben Myers. If and when Ben Myers gets a call up to the Colorado Avalanche roster. It was announced 2 days ago that Ben Myers will be starting out with the Colorado Eagles this season. He did not play in the final preseason game as he was listed as out with a lower body injury. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen there, but in his place, Fredrik Olofsson, who was traded to us from the Dallas Stars in exchange for some future considerations, is going to center our fourth line. He signed a 1-year deal with the Colorado Avalanche this year, and he will center the fourth line next to Curtis McDermott. Tonight is left wing starter as Cogliano is still out with his massive injury that he suffered last season. He'll return to us when he can, but I don't expect the Avs to rush that at all. I mean, it's early in the season. We saw the same thing with Nathan McKinnon last year. There's no need to rush these players back with injuries, especially if you've set your team up for success the way the Avalanche have. I mean, you've got 3-4 solid lines. You spread out the time on ice and give everybody a fair opportunity to try to use those mismatches throughout the season. You should be all right there. So, and I hope the Avs do that. Let's look at some of these acquired players that we've gotten over the offseason, and there was a laundry list of them. Fredrik Olofsson, like I said, came from the Dallas Stars. Ryan Johansson was acquired from the from the Nashville Predators. Ross Colton came over to us as a trade for that number 37 pick in this previous year's NHL entry draft. Miles Wood, this is a big name I want people to watch. Came over from the New Jersey Devils as an unrestricted free agent. Signed a 6-year deal worth what was it, $15 million. So that gives you a middle six player right there with Miles Wood. He's versatile. He's got the ability to go about and do things, and put some and score you some goals. But it gives you that solid depth, and he eats up a lot of time on ice minutes. Pulling up his stats right now, his career playoffs. He's got some playoff experience too. Career stats, we've got 402 games played, 78 goals, 70 assists for 148 points. His plus minus is down -63, but he's been with the New Jersey Devils his entire career. The Devils suffered a lot. I mean, they've recently gotten good, but his plus minus is going to suffer when you play for a team that's trying to rebuild and everything else. So that -63, I expect that to be a vast improvement moving through it forward with the Avalanche. The Avalanche have been really good about taking these players that have performed really poorly or not as consistently with other teams and turning them into superstars. I mean, that's why Nazem Kadri had a bad rap when he was in Toronto, came to the Avalanche. Still kind of a bad rap here and there with some of his antics on ice, but ultimately Avalanche fans fell in love with him. And then he went and signed a larger deal with the Calgary Flames. Valeri Nichushkin is another one of those players. High quality draft pick for the Dallas Stars. Didn't really mesh in their system at all. So he comes forward in a trade with the Avalanche. The Avalanche acquire him for very little in return, going back to the Dallas Stars. And here he is. He just signed an 8-year mega deal with the Colorado Avalanche last year, and he's our second line center or second line right winger, and he does an amazing job. Puts up solid points and everything else, and looks great. So that's what we hope to see from a player like Miles Wood. Like I said, Miles Wood, 78 goals, 70 assists. His best career numbers and goals was 19 goals in a season, 2017-2018 season. And he's had a career high in assists 2 times at 14 goals back in 18-19. And then last season, he had 14 assists, 27 points last season for him. He's going to see an increased role for sure with the Colorado Avalanche playing on that third line. Right now, he's averaging about 13 minutes and 8 seconds of time on ice per year. I expect that number to go up closer to a 14 or 15 minutes, 14 to 15 minutes per game. Give our first and second line guys a little bit of rest because this Avalanche team is built on speed. You saw it last year. You speed through the zones, you get those tripping calls, those hooking calls on the opposing team, which gives you the power play advantage, and turns the Avs into a lethal team. If you watch any of the preseason games with the Avalanche, these 2 power play units look phenomenal. They've upgraded with Johansson. You've got Bo Byram, who's centering a line now, more so than what he did last year. Cale Makar, Devin Tays, are there as well. Sam Girard. So those are your 4 defensemen that are playing on defense. If they put them both out at the same time, typically most teams are going to put out four forwards and a defenseman for their power play units. Yeah. Miles was part of the rebuilds and restructure in Jersey. When I say watch him, I see watch him for what he's going to do. He's been under 20 goals scored every single season, less than 20 assists. That's one of the things the Avs brought him in here for, and why he signed this big 6-year, $15 million deal. You get a bargain out of 6 years for 15 mil with Miles Wood. This guy has the ability to score. He has the ability to step up and move on. With him signing a 6-year deal, you have players like Arturi Lehkonen or Andrew Cogliano who are 1 or 2-year deals, and some of these other players on 1 or 2-year deals. The Avs see Miles Wood as being part of the long-term success of this team. So when I say watch him, Watch what he can do when he moves a puck. Watch what he can do with his line. I expect to see him occasionally get some power play opportunity, or even if the lines aren't meshing well and we're not really doing what we need to during the game, he might get some second line time with Ryan Johansson and Valeri Nichushkin. Or Lehkonen might go down to the third line a little bit. I expect Miles Wood to put somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 goals, maybe 25 to 30 assists. I expect this to be a career year for Miles Wood in this Avalanche system. That's what I say when I say watch this guy. Watch what he does. His point accumulation this year, yeah, like I said, 20 to 25 goals. I think is the expectation, and if he can hit that, then this is going to steal. If he goes above and beyond that, even better. That means he's going to be ready to move in that second line role on a more permanent basis for the Colorado Avalanche. And if we put up the points and we can score like that, the wins are going to come. You're not going to lose as many games, and it gives you even more depth should these games go into overtime. If it goes into a shootout, Miles Wood is going to be one of those guys that a lot of people might not expect to score, but I firmly feel he's worth it. The big story that we have for the Colorado Avalanche is who replaces Gabriel Landeskog, number 92, the captain of this team, on the first line. I'm not talking about who replaces the captaincy. No, don't worry about that. The Avs proved last season that we can play without a captain on the ice. You got players like Nathan MacKinnon, who's growing more and more into his leadership role. He's leaned on Gabriel Landeskog. He's leaned on Joe Sakic and some of the coaches in this organization to be like, hey, I know I'm a pure goal scorer. I know I'm a pure offensive talent, but I want to be more of that leadership role. And we've all heard the stories of him being a health nut and everything like that. But you create this family, this network within the organization that we're all on the same page. We all understand. The biggest communication issue you have is making sure everybody's on the same page off the ice. If you can get a team that's on the same page off the ice as they are on the ice, it's going to be great. My best example for this is I'm going to step into the Major League Baseball. San Diego Padres this year, or the last few years, have spent a ton of money on talent, on a very good talent for their team, but their off-field and stuff isn't going so well. They're not gelling as a team. Therefore, they're out of the Major League Baseball playoffs, and they spent a ton of money. All right, guys. I'm gonna welcome in our co-host. She just got off of work. She's coming in. Welcome, Jenna Chavez. How you doing?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. We were just talking about we're coming up on our next topic, which is the replacement for Gabriel Landeskog on our top line. You
Yes.
know, Landeskog's out for the season. We all know he's going through a massive cartilage replacement in his knee, which is very unheard of for a hockey player, let alone any type of
Any
athlete.
athlete. Yeah. I heard from, I don't remember who it was. It was an unnamed and former NHL player that had the same surgery done as Landeskog. And he came out and with the best well wishes for Landy after his surgery, but he said that he had the surgery and he could never skate at an NHL level again.
Yeah, you're going through, I believe it's a full tendon replacement pretty much at this point for
Yeah.
Landeskog, and it's Landeskog hasn't had the ability to to twist his knee or bend his knee the way he wants to in order to get the edging on his skating when he's
It's
trying to cut and everything
2020.
else, which is what you need for a hockey player.
It's
So
key.
the Avalanche go out and spend $825,000 on a 1-year deal for Nathan MacKinnon's former Halifax Moosehead partner,
Yeah.
Jonathan Drouin. And we've read up on Jonathan Drouin. His career has not been off to the same start as Nathan
It's not.
MacKinnon. They are completely opposite tracks, even though Jonathan Drouin was the top point scorer for the Halifax Mooseheads in
Mm-hmm.
what was one of their best years in franchise history, winning winning the winning the Quebec Junior Majors Championship, and then going on and winning the just minor league cup altogether in the
Right.
Memorial Cup tournament. So with Jonathan Drouin, what is our realistic expectation here? Do we have uh, this reignites Drouin's career? He has some success. He becomes a new dominant top line person, or do we see him kind of struggle and we start to shuffle lineups, 3-4 weeks into the season?
I mean, Bednar does like to shuffle the lineup, doesn't he? He
That he
likes,
does.
if anything is not going right, that it seems to be his first go-to is to shuffle the lines.
He doesn't hesitate. It could
He
be
does
3 minutes into the
not.
game. It's like, all right, we're
He's
done with
like,
this. Let's go.
first period, and he's like, nope, we're not doing this again.
And I know that drives a lot of Avs fans crazy, but with
I
Drouin,
like it.
what are your expectations for Drouin going into the season with the
I
Avs?
don't know. I think McKinnon, all of our team, really, they have the ability to bring somebody in and elevate them to a level that they've played at before. So I think he could come in and kind of be the dark horse of the season. We'll see.
He definitely could be. Me personally, I would like to see at least some success.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see, it's hard to say, well, they had chemistry when they were with the Halifax Mooseheads, and it should be an instantaneous thing. I'm pretty sure they train together in the off season. They
This
talk, they
Crosby.
interact, being friends, with Sidney Crosby and everything else. But
Yeah.
it's different when you've played so far apart. I do
Right.
have to say, that overtime game, the second to last game of the preseason, the overtime game, Drouin left a great drop pass to Frederick Olofsson or Olausen. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
he left a great drop pass to Olausen, and Olausen wrist shot it in for the overtime win.
Beautiful.
It's great to see that early chemistry coming with Drouin and some of the other players, not just McKinnon. So I truly do look forward to see what Drouin does. I don't know if I'm ready to place like a bet on Drouin to score a goal on a regular basis, but I think I definitely see his assist totals being up there, as far as his ability. But like, it's not like Joe Sakic or Chris McFarland to go and spend this money on this guy, even if it is only $825,000. For a 1-year salary, this is a tryout salary for him. If he doesn't pan out, then it is what it is. You're not doing a lot.
Right, we haven't lost too much.
Which brought me up to the point I had with Miles Wood, who signed that 6-year deal with us. This is somebody who, if he breaks out, could be a second line or even up on the first line, depending on what happens with our captain Gabriel Landeskog.
And Landy. Do you think Johansson will be on the top line?
Who will be on the top line?
Johansson from Nashville. Or do you think he'll be on the second line?
Johansson, I believe, is going to be our second line center for the year, which which is a big upgrade over what the expectations were for Alex Newhook last year.
I think our expectations for Newhook were too much.
I agree. I didn't feel he was ready to be that second line center. Like, if you were going to have anybody be your second line center last year, with the Kadri departure, I figured it might have been O'Connor or Comfort. Both earned that spot.
Yes.
With their growth and their development and what they were able to contribute to during the Stanley Cup championship run. So I was kind of shocked to see Newhook, who was a second-year player, get boosted into that role, even though he was a high draft pick.
Yeah.
We got good return in that draft pick, as I was saying. You got Gianni Fairbrother, which is defenseman. He's playing with the Eagles, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the number 31 pick, which you turned into another defenseman in Mikhail Gulyayev.
Yep.
And then you traded the number 37 pick to Tampa Bay, which got us our third line center, Ross Colton.
Yep.
So we're stacking the deck right here. Ross Colton, as I said earlier in the show, everybody, if you haven't watched film on this guy, didn't watch him when he was playing in Tampa Bay, is a veteran, has a Stanley Cup title already with his time in Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay couldn't pay him.
They could not. They
couldn't pay him the money.
Yeah, they lost a lot of players this year.
They lost a ton of players due to the salary cap restrictions.
Mm-hmm. Which we all knew back in 2021 that this was going to happen to them.
The NHL is still recovering from COVID.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
COVID happened, took a massive cut in the salary just so they could recoup their losses. And now with this new contract with ESPN and everything else going on, NHL is slowly making progress. And we've already heard that there's potentially a $4 million boost in the salary cap coming next offseason,
Yes.
which is going to be huge. Avalanche fans, Devin Tays is on his final year of his contract. He's already said he wants to come back.
Yeah.
He wants to stay. It might take a little bit of a salary bump, and it may not. It depends on what happens this season. If Devin Tays is willing to stay at the $4 million a year, which again would be a huge, huge advantage to the Colorado Avalanche. Devin Tays loves his defensive partner, Cale Makar, who, if you haven't gotten your copy of NHL 24, is on the cover of NHL 24 that just released on Friday.
On the cover.
He looks fantastic.
But is he the first Avs player to ever make the cover?
I don't think so. I think he's the third player to receive that honor. I haven't looked at that official stat.
I haven't looked it up.
Anybody who's watching the show, if you can put in the comments what other Avalanche players have gotten that distinct honor of being on the cover of NHL, I would appreciate it. I'm pretty sure someone like Sakic or Forsberg's gotten that honor as well. But this is the first one since I've been a big fan. My fandom didn't start until 2002, which is a year after our second Stanley Cup title, because I didn't move to Colorado until August of 2002, and hockey was still this kind of odd subject for me. Like I would catch some St. Louis Blues games in Kentucky. One of my stepdads was an Avs fan from Colorado, so I'd occasionally see it, but I couldn't wrap my head around hockey at the time. So this is the first Avalanche I've seen in my time as a true fan being on the cover of the NHL. It's great.
It's awesome.
The Avalanche drafted Callum Ritchie, a center, which we may not see this year. We might see depending on what happens with Ben Myers and whatnot. Yeah. I am not expecting to see Callum Ritchie in this lineup at all.
I'd be shocked.
Unless massive injuries occur.
I was going to say, unless he's annihilated, but let's not have that happen.
No, so I don't see Callum Ritchie getting any time with us. Let him develop with the Eagles, which could have a great season. We don't know. The former head coach for the Colorado Eagles when they were in the ECHL is now the head coach again. He's been with the team the entire time, but he's the guy that took us. I can't remember his name. It's hard to pronounce.
Yeah, right.
I put it in an article. I put it in one of my articles for Mile High Sticking. But he is now in charge again. He is the head coach. He won back-to-back titles in ECHL and winning the Kelly Cup. If you guys remember back in, I think it was 2017, 2018, the Eagles weren't going to give the Kelly Cup back. There was a huge issue. Yeah. It was kind of entertaining, and was kind of cool.
Entertaining.
Steve Kotowalchuk joins the Eagles as an assistant coach. Peter Budaj is their goalie coach this year. I expect great things from the Eagles this year because not only did we fill out our Avalanche roster, we filled out our Eagles roster too. Yeah. You got Miles Woods with the big team. Jack Achan is a defenseman went down to the Eagles. Riley Tooft is a healthy scratch tonight for the Colorado Avs. You got Chris Wagner, another center down with the Eagles. Corey Schooneman is down with the Eagles, a defenseman. Arvid Holm is probably going to get the starting goaltending position with the Eagles, as Eustace Ananen is listed as the projected backup to Alexander Georgiev tonight. Healthy scratch is Ivan Prosvetov, who we just acquired yesterday off of waivers from the Arizona. I couldn't believe that either. I mean, like, you get Ivan, Russian player, Ivan Prosvetov is a young Russian goaltender. Somebody that Alex Georgiev is going to get along with, communicate with, everything. Our goalie coach has been the same goalie coach for the last few years, and he has pumped out quality goaltending for years now. Philip Grubauer signed a big deal, went off as a UFA to join the Seattle Kraken. Didn't have a great year last year. You've got whoever, I can't remember our Stanley Cup winning goaltender. Who was it?
It was
Darcy Kemper. Darcy Kemper.
I think it's a D and a K, but where do they go?
Darcy Kemper, another guy who played with Minnesota, who played, I think, with Vegas for a little bit. He's been around. Came with us, Forster, Sakic, and Cale Makar have graced the
There we
cover.
go. Thank
There
you,
we are.
Michael.
Herschel coming through. Forster, Sakic, Cale Makar have all graced the cover of NHL in 1998, 2004, and 2024. Forsberg. I thought it was
I was
wrong.
like, who is this
Forster.
Forster? I was like, it must be Forsberg.
Yes. So Peter Forsberg, Joe Sakic, Cale Makar, all greats in Colorado Avalanche, 98, 2004, 2024, respectively. The trifecta right there, I would say. Nathan MacKinnon, I would like to see Nathan MacKinnon on a cover, but I think we need Connor McDavid to just disappear in order for that to happen. 143 points for Connor McDavid last season.
Yeah, it was
incredible.
A crazy number. It was a crazy number.
Crazy number. But we did have our very own Nathan MacKinnon set career highs in goals, assists, and points last year.
Wow.
42 goals, 69 assists, 111 points and a plus 29 plus minus. What are your expectations? And he missed it. I think this was only in 71 games. He missed 11 games.
He missed a few games.
Yeah.
So
he missed.
And he was on a tear right before he missed those games.
Yes.
I think he could have given Connor McDavid a run for his money.
You're talking about a 20 to 30 point difference between the two. I mean, impressive. Yeah. Hart Trophy finalist or nominee as well. Nathan MacKinnon was again.
Always.
But what are your expectations for Nathan MacKinnon? Do you think he can repeat the success?
I think he can. My questions with Nathan MacKinnon are, can he prove that he should have the A and have more leadership this year with Landy out than he did last year?
I don't think he necessarily has to prove that.
I feel like a little bit, because in the playoffs, his temper got the best of him a couple times, and it did have an effect on the game.
It did. But there were other things at play in the playoffs this past year, as we all know.
Sure.
With
Landy out.
Landy out, Nichushkin was gone after heading into Game 3. Big issue. It's been addressed. Yeah. Avalanche are ready to move on from it. I'm okay with that. I think Nathan MacKinnon. Yeah, I think Nate can be a good leader. He has to he's building into it. Like the person he was as a rookie when he won the Calder Trophy and everything, that guy was not ready to be a leader. Landeskog, when he was a rookie, had the look, had the feel of a leader, and I was ready for it. So I think the captaincy went to the right person there.
Oh, for sure.
Right now, we run into a situation. What if Landeskog is done? Who becomes the captain? I know Landeskog is doing everything possible to step back into this team and be a leader and get back on the ice. That is his ultimate goal. He wants to be with these guys on the ice. If he can't step into it, naturally, I think MacKinnon would be the fans' choice to be the next captain of this Avalanche team, or a Cale Makar. Cale Makar's got that cool, collected, yeah, man, I just scored a goal and I just deked that guy out of his pants, but, whatever.
I think Cale Makar shows more captain skills than Mac.
100%. But
hot
take right there. But the question becomes, you've got such depth and knowledge in the coaching staff on this team. Not only coaching staff, but your GM, your executive vice president, Joe Sakic, GM, Chris McFarland. You've got former players. Jared Bednar's former player. He's won at every single level. An amazing coach. A lot of people, if you guys didn't catch that, when we won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, he's won all of them.
He's won every title you could possibly win in hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Don't discount the guy. Yeah, there's a reason why he got the extension. The guy's legit, and he's put together a great team from this 48-point season we had with Patrick Waugh. Nothing against the great Patrick Waugh, but this is a coach. Jared Bednar is a coach, and that's all he wants to do. MacKinnon, I think, can be he's got a great group of coaches and people around him that he can lean on and get that experience from. So I fully expect him to continue to develop his role as a coach. We'll see how it plays out throughout the season, and his interactions on the ice. But I assume that we're going to run with 3 A's this year instead of just the regular 2.
That's what I was wondering, because we get We get an extra A without having a captain, right?
I believe so. So I fully expect Nathan McKinnon's going to wear his A, as he is.
Yeah,
Cale Makar's going to
always.
wear his.
Right.
Eric Johnson's not here anymore. He's in
I think
Buffalo. That would have
Caves.
been a natural selection for your third A. Who did you say?
Caves.
Devontae's?
I think he sported an A couple times last year.
I think he was a few times. You have Valer Nichushkin, who could be another possible one. You have newcomer Ryan Johansson, who I think wore an A a couple times when he
I
was in
think he
Nashville.
wore A a couple times in Nashville.
Let's see. Yeah. And Herschel's right. Avs seem like they're set in the win now mode with the addition of Wood, Druin, Colton. Curious to know both of your perspectives on what the other roster moves do y'all anticipate before the trade deadline? That is a great question.
That's
As
a
we
good
take a look at
question.
this season. Honestly, looking at the entire roster up and down, there's somebody that Herschel didn't name on that list, and he was a late season acquisition for the Colorado Avs. On September 12th, he signed a 1-year, $1.5 million deal, and that was Thomas Tatar,
Yes.
who signed with the Colorado Avalanche. So, Mike, I don't necessarily, me personally, my perspective, I don't think the Avs are going to have much movement at the trade deadline, unless things go south.
Barring something unprecedented, I don't anticipate a lot more movement. I think this week kind of buttoned everything up, and I think that they're ready to go and see what we got.
You've got some solid depth across the board. You've got Curtis McDermott is going to obviously play some fourth line minutes until the return of Andrew Cogliano. Many people know Cogliano suffered a massive injury the end of last season, and recovery has been a hectic process for him.
He's the one that got hit by in the Kraken game, right, against the board.
Yes, I believe it was a spinal fracture.
Was it one or
And
two?
I don't remember what vertebrae it was. We can look that up here real
I think
quick.
it was his like T5. I don't remember, but I know he was out and about in the off season.
It says here Cogliano fractured his neck during Game 6. He is out indefinitely. It was hit behind by Seattle's Jordan Eberle with a conclusion, causing him to forcibly crash into the boards surrounding the rink. No penalty was given. No additional discipline was given. It was a C5 vertebrae fracture.
C5, that's it.
So that's still high up in the spine. It's a dangerous spot for sure. So Cogliano's out, but you've got some solid depth. Wood, Druin, Jack Johnson was re-signed for a year. You went out and you got Olofsson, you've got Johansson, you've got Ross Colton, you got Thomas Tatar that signed. You've got some other players that could potentially get called up. Also, yesterday, we traded Callahan Burke to the Carolina Hurricanes and got the younger Jones brother. We got Caleb Jones, defenseman. That is Seth Jones' younger brother. For those of you that aren't aware, Seth Jones, I believe, is playing with the Blackhawks this year.
Yeah,
I
think so.
But I think, Mike, to answer your question, no, I don't think there's going to be any additional roster moves. I don't think we need to make any roster moves. If the Eagles play the way I expect them to play, there's going to be some solid depth there that we can rely on, as long as they don't have waiver issues.
Right.
That's going to be the big thing, and I'll have to look into that a little bit more to give you a more definitive answer. But you've got players like Riley Tuft, or Tuft, whichever way you want to pronounce his name, who's going to be a healthy scratch, might sub in for Curtis McDermott on occasion, and McDermott being the healthy scratch.
Now, is Manson still out, or is Manson back?
Josh Manson is in, I believe.
He's in? Okay.
I believe he's in. I think he is paired with Jack Johnson on our third line defense.
Got it.
The lineups for tonight, I believe, are Makar and Tays, this first pair of defensemen, Gerard and Byram for second pair, and then you've got the
Oh,
Jack Johnson and Josh Manson line.
how do you
For,
think Byram's gonna adjust this year to not having EJ?
that is going to be huge.
That is, I just thought that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh no.
So, Bo Byram has skated his entire NHL career, or majority of his NHL career, next to Eric Johnson.
Mhm.
Eric Johnson, big defender, same size as Byram,
Yeah,
plays a very similar game defensively. I think this is the year Bo and Byram has to break out.
I was gonna say this is his. I think he has to show up, or I think that they're gonna move
I
on.
I don't think they'll move on. I think they'll keep him around because he's solid on the boards. He knows how to dig out a puck. He's always
Yeah,
like some of the passes he makes off the board when he's pinned against the wall or he's got somebody else pinned against the wall are just insane.
yeah.
Like all of a
What
sudden the puck's out and then they're skating down the other side.
I love how every time he comes off the ice, whenever there's a mic near him, you can hear him talking and asking. Like last year, especially with E, that's why I'm curious how he'll do without EJ. Is because last year, whenever he came off the ice, he always found the condor and was like, was that good? Should I have done something different? And so I think that this will be an interesting year for him of kind of that safety net bond
Yeah.
in EJ. And so maybe it'll be good for him.
Training wheels are off,
Oh.
Bowen. Come on, man. We gotta get you on. We gotta get you going. We gotta get something out of you. I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't expect massive amount of points out of him. I don't think that's
I don't
that's
think that's
uh
the game he
that's
plays.
Byram's game. He's just that solid guy. I just want to see him succeed and be and just be a fantastic defenseman. You got Kale McCarr, you got Devin Tays to do all that stuff. Uh, yeah, this especially. Not to mention his loyalty to the Avs after they gave him the time to recover from concussions. Can't wait to watch him more. This is the one thing I love about this team is you saw it with Bowen Byram when he had his concussion issues. This is a young, talented guy. They didn't want to lose him. They want to continue with him. And
Well,
it's
they
the
did the
thing,
same thing with Comfort up until, I mean,
not
because
only
early in
Comfort, we
his
did it with we Herschel would know this. Who was it? The
Scrapper.
I forget who it was. He retired after
Yeah,
dealing with
it's
concussions and what.
I always called him Scrapper because he was little, but he'd fight
Yeah,
anybody.
Scrapper.
um,
We're on the same page. I can't recall
yes,
his name. Herschel's gonna slap me upside the
he
head next time he sees me
he
for
hit
forgetting it.
Matt Calvert.
Matt
Thank you,
Calvert,
Michael.
Scrapper Matt Calvert. Yes, yes,
Thank you,
indeed.
Michael.
There you go. Calvert.
Calvert.
Thank you, Michael. He's fully gonna slap me upside the head next time he sees me. I know he is. I know he is. Just make sure I'm not drinking a beer when you do it, Mike.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, so Matt Calvert was the same thing. The
Mhm.
Avs worked with him. They gave him
Yep.
time, everything else, because they the NHL is serious about their concussions. They're serious about head injuries and everything. So
Mhm.
they want to give everybody their time. But the Avs, I like are just phenomenal in the way they treat their players.
Yeah.
And one of these years I'm gonna go to one of these banquet dinners that they do with Children's Hospital and stuff. I can't wait to go.
Oh, I know.
It's
Someday.
gonna be awesome. But so we have season projections for both of us. So first off, we'll go to this. Your season expectations. Where will the Avalanche be come Christmas?
Come Christmas.
Come
Oh.
Christmas. The Christmas break. Where do you see the Avs sitting?
Mm, I think we'll be fighting for first in our division.
Fighting for first. Who do you see being the biggest competition for the Avs in fighting for the Central Division crown?
Mm. Ooh, that's a tough one. We always have trouble in our own division, I feel like. No matter how much better we
I
are on paper,
yeah.
when it comes
Something
ice
always
to
happens.
ice, sometimes it's very competitive.
I feel yes, the Central Division is going to get a lot of national media time because of Connor Bedard in Chicago, who scored his first
Yeah.
goal tonight.
Oh my god. Oh, he got a goal tonight. He scored
He
he
got a
had an
goal
assist.
tonight.
He had an
He got his
assist last
first goal
night.
tonight. So he got an assist last night. Uh, for me, yeah. Uh, Mike just texted me. He's like, Dallas is going to be the biggest challenge. And yes, that is where I see our biggest challenge coming from is the
Yeah.
Dallas Stars. They continue to reload just like the
Yeah.
Avalanche are, and they
Mhm.
continue to push and whatnot.
And
We
they're
picked up,
big.
yeah, we picked up some people from them. We picked up Frederick Olofsson. We picked up Kibi Ranta, who
Yep.
famously put us out. I think it was the 2016 playoffs with that hat trick uh, his hat trick goal, and I think it was overtime game 6, which was
Yeah, I
just
think
a
so.
dagger to the heart.
Oh,
I think that was the same. That was the same series where we lost Captain Gabriel Landeskog with this initial knee injury when he took
in the
I think
bubble.
it was Makar's skate that
I
caught him on
thought
the knee.
was it our own guy's skate or was it one of the Dallas?
It
It
was
was
our own guy. Our own guy's skate caught him,
yeah,
and
right under on his
it's unfortunate.
patella.
Yeah, that tendon right there.
Hmm.
That's just rough. Uh, but yes, I think Dallas is going to be the biggest threat to us.
I could see that.
Um, St. Louis, Winnipeg. Winnipeg just did re-sign Connor Hellebuck and Mark Scheifele to long-term deals. So I like Hellebuck's a great goaltender and everything. I just feel like we have a better lineup than what they do on paper. So I
On
expect
paper.
us to challenge them.
Yeah.
Uh, you've got St. Louis, Minnesota. There's the rivalry right there. FKN Minnesota, FKN Wild.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. Kirill Kaprizov is back. I mean, he's gonna challenge for point and goal scoring as well. So that's a good rivalry. I'm not necessarily worried as much about Minnesota as I am with Dallas. Nashville is going through a bit of a rebuild. They're trying to
Rebuild?
get this. I think so.
I think so
Uh,
too.
you got Yusei Saros, who's been their backup for a while. He's now their starting goaltender. This is his second full year as their starting goaltender after Pekka Rinne retired. I don't really think they did a lot in the offseason to kind of update their roster or anything. You do have Ryan O'Reilly,
I
who's
was gonna
there
say Ryan
with the
O'Reilly's
Nashville
there.
Predators.
That was
So
weird to see
that was a
last
big
night.
free agent signing for them. So I don't expect a lot to go on there.
Is
Toronto just scored
Duchesne
again.
still in Nashville or did he move on this off season?
I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not either.
He
Because
might be there.
I didn't hear his name called once last night during the game.
I will say, as a former Avalanche, I am happy that Duchesne found a groove with Nashville and just
Oh,
was like, I'm just gonna
well,
shut
guess
up
where
and
he plays now?
yeah.
Dallas. He plays in
He's
Dallas.
in Dallas. Okay, so we're gonna see
We're gonna
he's
see
on
plenty of Duchesne.
he's on a better team.
Yeah, maybe he'll
From
finally get to play some playoff hockey like he always dreamed.
yeah, I don't appreciate the way he left. He left Colorado, but I'm glad once he left and talked with coaches and whatnot. He's like, look, man, we just want you to go out there, put up 20 goals a year, 30 goals a year, and contribute to the team. Don't worry about being a captain. Don't worry
Right.
about being the lead scorer or whatever. Just go out there, play hockey. And
Yeah.
he found his groove. I mean, there was a real chance if he didn't go somewhere else, he could have found himself out of the league altogether.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing we know about the NHL: you can be a third, fourth line center and have a 20-year career.
Yep, you can. It's kind of
So
cool.
so it's good for him. Arizona, I'm not worried about Arizona. They are
Poor Arizona.
massive rebuild going on right there.
Are they
But I
on the
think they'll be
20-year
competitive.
plan?
I don't know what kind of plan they're on. I think they're going to need a grown up size arena before they do anything.
Yeah, adult size.
Still splitting time with one of the
The
universities down
college.
there, and using their arena for now. But you need a grown up stadium, so you guys either figure something out, or Bettman might send you to Atlanta for a third time. Who knows?
And
Um,
did our defending champions win their game last night? I didn't look.
Vegas did win their game last night.
Did
They
they?
came back to win 4-2 or 4-1.
4-1 against the Kraken.
Yeah, 4-1 against the Kraken. I went the wrong way on that. I needed a goal from Matty Beniers last year's rookie for the Seattle Kraken. I didn't get one from him, but that was betting purposes. For fantasy hockey for purposes, I did pretty well. So we're getting close to wrapping up the show, everybody. Like I said, this is our first show. We're going to be on weekly, Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Join us. If there's an Avalanche game going on, I'm pretty sure we'll both be distracted while we're doing the show. Outside of anything crazy, both of us being sick, something like that, Wednesdays is going to be our day at 6 p.m. Join us. Tell your friends, tell your family. Just come watch the show. Give us your thoughts on Avalanche hockey. You want to complain about something that happened in the last week? Let us know. You want to cheer on your favorite player? Let us know. I'm always up for inviting fans on and doing guest spotlights, getting insight. Pretty sure Jenna wouldn't mind having some fans on as well. We'd love to have you guys on the show. Love to get in touch with you guys and get some insight from fans. We're fans too. This is a fan-ran show. This is a fan-ran network with Colorado Sports Connection. We want to hear from you guys. We want you guys involved. So let's get on to it. Season expectations. I forgot to add yours on there. I got it. 1 second. 49. What'd you have?
49, 21, and 12.
49, 21, and 12. Those are Jenna's predictions right there. Mine are 48, 22, and 12. So we're roughly in the same place. You've got them, we've got them over 100 points. I think mine is 108. You're at 100. You're at 100, 110 at 110, which is in line with where we were last year. Avs finished with 108 points, won the Central Division, had the second seed in for the Western Conference as Vegas had the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, but we were the 1 seed in the Central Division. Took on the Wild Card Kraken, who were playing without former Avalanche Andrei Burakovsky in their lineup because he was injured.
And Donskoy was out too.
Jonas Donskoy was out too. I forgot about that guy. But I tell you what, that was such a scrappy series between those two teams. That was intense.
It was.
I know a lot of Avs fans, myself included, I hate to say it, we're like, oh, Seattle Kraken second year. They're not going to do much. They slapped me in the face pretty hard.
Yeah, I was nervous going into it just because our season had just been kind of a roller coaster, and then when the Nichushkin stuff happened, it was just such a distraction, and I just don't think we couldn't recover.
That was such a huge distraction. And, the constant, well, with Nichushkin out, are they going to bring Landeskog back? Are they going to do, what's going to happen? I think this year the Avs are like, all right, enough with the distractions. We had enough taste of that last year with Landeskog. When's he going to be back? Is he going to come back at the trade deadline? Are we going to put him on long-term IR and then make a trade acquisition? What's going to happen there?
I think the Avs mishandled that. I think that the Avs should, because they had his first expected date for him to come back in December? Yeah. And then they just wouldn't say anything, and then they just kept moving the date. And it's like,
I mean,
something?
I totally get that, but now that we have more clarity on what the actual issue was,
now
I think we all understand why it was handled the way it was handled.
Yeah.
You're dealing with this injury where he's had 1 surgery, or I think he had two or three surgeries at that time to correct the issue, and it just didn't take. And then they were like, all right, what's the issue? He's like, I can skate in a straight line.
I can't swivel.
I can't push off.
I can't this move. I
can't go like this. I can't go like that. So, which is crucial. Like he couldn't, he reminds me of what was his name on Mighty Ducks, like the Cordoba kid who couldn't stop.
He couldn't break.
Or Luis, his name.
Yeah.
Put it in, Luis. I stopped finally. It reminds me a lot like that, like he can't be as forceful on that knee, on the outside of that knee, as he wanted to be. So this full tendon and cartilage replacement is scary.
Transplant.
It's a scary,
transplant.
yeah, it's a full transplant, which you
So
don't
your body
see
has
happen.
to accept it and keep accepting it. Like, it's a whole thing. Like, he's pretty much had to, I watched a video and he's pretty much having to relearn even how to walk, like, to get his gait correct.
You're breaking up pretty bad right there. I didn't catch the last part of that.
I'm so sorry. This is what happens when you're in the car on the move.
Still breaking up. All right. Well, we got our season expectations in there with our win projections right there. I think the 108 to 110 mark is going to be a pretty solid mark for the Avalanche as far as winning the division, which I think is the ultimate goal.
Yes.
Dallas is probably going to be the biggest threat for us in moving forward right there. But we are definitely looking forward to seeing what's going to happen right there. So tonight is game 1 of 82 for the regular season. Jenna, what are your expectations for this game? What do you think the score is going to be?
I don't know. Are we at home or away tonight? I don't even know. I think we're away, aren't we?
I can't hear a word.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
All right, we got some bad feed right there on Jenna's part.
Feed on my part.
I think we're both looking for the W, right? The W, is that what we're looking for? All right. I'm gonna say, what you got? What's the score?
2-1.
2-1. 2-1 Avs. She's got 2-1 Avs going on. I am gonna go with a score of 4-2, with one of those being an empty net goal at the end of the game. That is my guess. That is my take. All right, guys, we are going to wrap up our show tonight. Thank you again for tuning in with us. I know we didn't get many viewers, but hey, 2 or 3. It's the first show of the season. First time we've been on in some time. So we'll take what we can get. You can find us on the Colorado Sports Connection Facebook page. Sign up there. Not only are you going to get some great content from us, you're going to get some great content from our other teams covering the Broncos. We are looking for some people to chime in on Rockies coverage, some Colorado Rapids coverage. You like the Colorado Mammoth? Let us know. We would love to have you on. Mammoth start their season 2, and they fell just short last season in being a repeat championship. Hey, Colorado Rockies, you guys got to catch up. Everybody else has got a championship, guys. Just saying. So we are working towards getting more coverage. If you'd like to join the team, let us know. Reach out. Colorado Sports Connection. Check in with us right there. Also, if you haven't, go subscribe with us on YouTube. Colorado Sports Connection. We are on YouTube. This is where you can also watch it. You can follow me on X/Twitter. My handle is Denver Poker Kid 007 for additional coverage, as I also write periodically for Mile High Sticking and provide some Avalanche coverage and insight there as well. Jenna, I don't know if your mic's working properly or not.
I don't know if you can hear me or not.
All right. So we're not getting any more from Jenna tonight. Jenna, thanks for hopping on. I know you had some work and whatnot. She will be with us at the start of our show next week as we got some things worked out on her end. For Jenna Chavez and myself, Scott Cole, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We look forward to seeing you guys some more. I'm going to go kill some time playing some NHL 24 before I head down the street to my bar to watch the opening night for the Colorado Avalanche. All right, guys. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Be safe out there. Be kind to each other. And until next time, next Wednesday, we'll see you then.